welcome back to the channel. Two things before we get started. One, we didn't record an intro, so we'll have an intro for you in a couple seconds. Second thing, we're taking a quick break from Cousin Jerry's 240. He had to order some parts, and we'll be right back on it. You'll see another video on that next week. So, without further ado, let's get right into the video. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we got a new build, but I forgot to make an intro, so we're gonna make an intro. The video's already done, so this is me from the future in the past, but that's no here, no there. So this right here is a 1999 SC300. It is obviously a 2J. The car, I bought it as a parts car. I bought it as a project. So as you can see, all the interior is here. The white cars usually come with tan interior, but it's been repainted to black, and I don't know what they use, but it looks pretty good. It looks really good. I mean, this looks good because it's matte, but then this looks like super shiny. So it's like a weird difference between like this matte finish, which I would have preferred. This is more realistic than this like shinier. This is the shiniest piece. But as you can tell underneath, I don't know if that's mold or that's paint. Yes, paint chips. It's tan underneath. And if you guys are not familiar with the SC market, these things are expensive. The interiors are expensive, and it just keeps going on and on. This car is like, I guess, limited production, or not limited production. There's just not too many of them, so everything for these cars are expensive. But take a little look in the interior. They painted the carpet. There's more interior panels here. No seats, so no back seats, no front seats. We will be picking that up in the next video on this car, as well as some other stuff. But overall, this car, it's a pretty good deal. And you might be wondering why we have this, and it's because we got rid of the other one. So the other one, I finally sold it, which was the longest standing vehicle in our channel. I sold it to a guy, I believe his name was Roland or Ronald, down in North Carolina. So he came, picked it up, and drove it down there. So it did leave him about 300 miles from home because the alternator went bad. But obviously, besides that, the car was a freaking tank. And although I miss having a car here that I could just get in and go, I always wanted a newer car, and like a newer model with a facelift. So the bumper is different on these cars. The taillights, when I bought this car, the guy gave me the taillights from an older version. So this is the same taillights that the other SC had, the black one, but the bumper is different. So the bumper is a little different, and it has this little lip apron. These cars have side skirts, and then the front end, the front bumper is a little different as well because it has this little fog light holes, has a little grill right there. So overall, I always wanted a newer car, a newer year car, but I just realized that the 97, just realized like before I made this video, the 97s is the way to go, because the 97 you have the facelift, and you still have the GE non-VVTi motor, which is basically the same motor that the Turbo Subarus come with, but they're just NA. So they have the stronger rods, and these have the weaker rods. So enough talking. We're gonna get right into the video. So the rest of the video is either gonna be time lapse or me talking a little bit, but essentially I bought this car without the head on it, which is a parts car. I had the head and everything in the trunk. As you can still see, there's still some pieces back here. Not many, but the rest of the parts are on the car. So watch the rest of the video, and then you'll see at the end if we can get it started or not. So to give you guys more of a backstory on how we got here, when we bought the car, the head was in the trunk, or sorry, the head was actually in the car with the manifold. The trunk was full of the rest of the parts, and basically the guy that we bought it from couldn't tell us really what was going on with the car. Cousin Eric and I were not really sure what was going on, but the body was straight, the motor looked pretty healthy, and we just decided to run it. So when we got the car over to our house, we just inspected the head, and we noticed that the water temperature sensor was leaking and had a lot of corrosion. So we just kind of assumed that the problem was that the car was overheating, or maybe giving them a false reading. And we spun the motor and made sure that it spun freely. And so that's why we just decided to put the head on. So now that we have the engine together again, we can start running the harness. So I ran just these plugs on the harness here, just because, you know, those are very specific plugs, so those were pretty easy to run. However, I'm having a hard time figuring out the routing of this harness here. As you can tell, it has some holes for some bolts, and I'm not sure exactly how it goes, but because I'm a hoarder, I have another car to look off of. So it seems that I have to put in the lower plenum of the intake, because, you know, the intake is 3 pieces. Is the lower, I guess the middle, then the top, and this is the throttle body. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So looks like the harness runs underneath here, and that way I could also put in the fuel rail. Let's put this on. So what you don't see here is I actually already done this. This is technically my first time that you're watching here, but later in the video you'll see Cousin Eric come up and I'll have a different outfit on, and basically I put the manifold like 50% together, so I put the bottom plenum in the top, but then I was having a hard time running the harness, and I realized that to be able to get everything connected underneath the manifold, I just took it all out. So when Cousin Eric came in, we connected whatever plugs we could underneath, and then we ran the harness and completed the manifold. So I got pretty familiar with removing and installing this manifold, and let's just say that the gasket might have taken a little damage. As far as the coil packs, those things are pretty intense. So here you go. You see me again, like almost where we left off, but this was a whole nother day and months later. And we get the rest of the manifold in. Cousin Eric was able to plug in all the plugs since he has much more experience than I do. We hooked everything up. I mean, there's every clip that can be broken is barely hanging onto this thing. We didn't connect the throttle cable. It's okay. Let's start without throttle cable? It's not gonna start without throttle cable. I feel like it's not. All right, we're gonna figure it out. So right now we got the truck here. We have to jump start this because the jump pack is dead. So let's see if it starts. Oh, let's see. Battery off of everything. I gotta go. This is a brand new battery. Yeah, I told you. Alright. Y'all seen it here first. He wants to leave, but shit's obviously not going great. AKA, I need a new motor. That should start. I put it on fire, maybe. Well, Cousin Eric is saying that this thing's gonna catch on fire. I mean, it was smoking. Not the engine. Take the battery of this shit. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know what happens. Let you know what happens. If you see the firefighters going, you need to come with your extinguisher fast. that up. Unfortunately, this episode, we're not able to get it started, but